If you feel unsatisfied with your life, you feel directionless, and you feel like you've stopped growing, and you know you need to make a change, but you're not sure where to start, don't worry. I was there too. And these are three of the most impactful, beneficial, and easy daily habits that completely changed my life. These three habits helped me feel more grateful, more driven and disciplined, and improved my quality of life overall. Before we get started, these are just the habits that worked for me. Now, they did completely change my life, and I believe that they can change yours if you're feeling the same way I was. If you're feeling like you're in a depressive rut or stuck, or you feel like you're not growing, as I mentioned earlier, then these habits will change your life. That being said, we want to structure these habits so that they are repeatable and easy to do every single day, even when we don't feel like it and have no motivation. The reason we want to do this is to let the compound effect take place and for it to slowly start to change our identity into someone that does these positive habits and is on the path to improving themselves. For me personally, I had to get rid of the belief that the only way to make positive self-growth was to have radical change overnight and to have these drastic improvements that were just, in hindsight, not realistic. They were hard to stick to. And so after reading books like The Compound Effect and Atomic Habits, I realized I needed to structure my habits in a way that made them easy, quick, and rewarding. That way I could stick with them every day, and that way I would really see the benefits over time. So my advice would be to commit to the marathon and not the sprint. All right, now let's move on to the habits. And habit number one would be to practice gratitude. For me personally, this was one of the most beneficial habits that I started, and it completely changed my life by taking me from a negative overthinker who only saw the bad in people, who was very judgmental, very self-critical, to someone that's grateful for what I had, who I had, and who I was. It's really helped build my self-confidence over time and built my patience and my love for others. The benefit of practicing gratitude daily is that it really compounds over time, and eventually you just start to think this way all the time. Well, most of the time. Obviously, everyone's still going to have bad days, and I still have bad days, but usually I'm able to think about the wins and really start to feel grateful for the day that I had or who I have. If you want an easy way to start a gratitude practice, personally for me, all I did was in my journal, I would list 1 to 3, and I would just list off 3 things that I was grateful for. It took me maybe a minute. At the start, it was a little harder because obviously I had to try and force myself to think of positive things, but eventually it becomes really easy and you can just list anything that you're feeling grateful for in that moment. Could be, sorry, my cat's in the way. Could be warm water, clean drinking water, could be a family, could even be video games. It could be something super vain. It doesn't matter as long as you're thinking about what you're grateful for. And yeah, having that compound effect over time where you just start to feel positive in everyday life is really, really powerful. And just for me, it completely increased my happiness overall. All right, habit number 2 would be to read daily. Now, reading is one of the most beneficial habits that you can have overall and has a super large impact on your path and your progression through life. Now, I'm referring to nonfiction books, self-help books, self-improvement books. And the benefit of these is that they will just provide you with so much knowledge and insight that will just completely set you on a different trajectory and really change your life if you stick to what they say. The great thing about reading is that it is really easy to do. Now, at the start, I made a few mistakes of trying to be like, well, I'll read half an hour a day. I'll do that every single day. And it's like, that wasn't really possible for me. And I definitely fell off the track really quickly because I didn't even have a habit of reading at all. So it was a bit dumb on my part to think that I could just suddenly start reading half an hour a day. And when I started to realize that I needed to make smaller changes and scale it back, I started with reading 1 page a day. I did this for a while. I started reading 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5, then reading 5 minutes, then reading 10 minutes, until it just became easy to do. And this really, really did set a massive positive change in my life. Now, the beauty of books is that they get converted into audiobooks. Audiobooks are incredible. Super easy way to get in that time to gain that knowledge. And, you can listen to them to and from work or just around the house when you're doing chores. And they are, in my opinion, just as effective as reading a book, as long as you're paying attention and taking action on the advice that you're getting from the book. So yeah, read one page a day. It will completely change your life. If you're looking for places to start, I've got a few books here that I would highly recommend, which personally for me, if you're after emotional growth, or my recommendation is if you're after emotional growth or just becoming a more patient and loving person, then Don't Sweat the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson is incredible. And that's really what helped me become a much more loving and patient person. All right, habit number 3, which made a huge impact on my life, was having a time to reflect on the day. Now, usually I would do this at night, and what I would do is either journal or have some kind of reflection on the day, and that would really just help me think through the day, think through my thoughts, and see if I acted in a way that I wanted to. If I was acting in accordance with trying to become that person that I wanted to be. Now, some really valuable things that you can do with your reflection practice is to track habits. So for me, that helped me actually commit to the habits that I was trying to implement. So I could just, write out my habits and tick whether I did them on the days of the week. And then I could see my progress over time. It would make me feel accountable, and it was satisfying to tick it off and say that I had done it and, see the evidence building that I was becoming the person I wanted to. But to me, the most beneficial part of a reflection practice or journaling is that it's a really valuable chance to revisit the events during the day and again, see if you acted in accordance with becoming that person that you want to be, and even think about ways that you could have handled it more positively next time. And it's just such a useful way to navigate through your emotions and your feelings about the day. Something else that I like to do, which is almost combining gratitude and reflection, is to list out as many wins as I can. So this really helped build up my self-confidence and gratitude and like self-belief. And so all I would do is I would just dot point out as many wins as I could. So a win could be reading a book, it could be I went for a little walk, it could be I drank enough water that day. Whatever it was, I would just try and list as many wins that I could, and that would get me focusing on the positives, even on the worst days. Even when I felt like I didn't want to exist that day, or I felt extremely negative or fell into a bit of a spiral, just thinking about all the wins and reshaping my mindset made a massive difference in how I felt about that day. So there you go. Those are 3 habits that I implemented that really changed my life. I think if you stick to these for a long time and you commit to the marathon, they will change yours as well. They're really easy to do. Scale them down so that it's almost no resistance towards doing them, and then just stick with them. And don't beat yourself up if you lose a day or you go off track for a week or anything like that. Just get back on the habit straight away and keep trying to improve yourself. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found that useful.